All right, today we're going to look into how to find the volume of pyramids. So in the first video, before you started this one for your notes, we were seeing a video where if we had, let's say, this rectangular prism with this rectangular base, if we had 3 rectangular pyramids with the same base measurement. So let's say like this part was 4 and this was 3, so 4 by 3 rectangle, and if that was a 4 by 3 rectangle, a 4 by 3 rectangle, and a 4 by 3 rectangle. Basically, if you had the same base, but this is a prism and this is a pyramid, what we were seeing in that video is if you filled this pyramid up with water and poured it into this first prism right here, it wouldn't be full yet. So then we would take a second pyramid with the same base as that prism, and we would pour a second pyramid amount of water, and then we could take a third. And so what we were seeing in that first video is, remember, volume is the capacity, how much something can hold. So the dimensions that this could hold, how much water this prism can hold, would be equivalent to these 3 pyramids. So if you stop and think about it, that's why if you look at this picture, you have like this, and then right here, and then right here. So you have this extra space right here that's in this rectangular prism, but not in the pyramid. So that's why that water is not filled up here. So if you kind of visualize it like this, you can see, kind of thinking about what that video had, if you had water in this pyramid and poured it in, it would take 1/3 of the way. If you take a second, it would take 2/3 of the way, and then a third pyramid to fill that prism up all the way. So basically, the equation for the volume of a pyramid, V equals 1/3 big B times H, because for every prism and pyramid with a congruent base, so like I shaded that base, that purple right there, it would take 3 pyramids to fill up the volume of 1 prism. Okay? So that's why we wanted to show it to you first instead of just telling you. So in that first video, we took that water and we poured it in. Okay? Well, if I wanted to know that volume of just that 1 pyramid, that's 1 out of 3. So 1/3 is 1 out of 3. So another way that we could write that, like we've talked about before, if you multiply by 1/2, that's the same thing as dividing by 2. So in your math chart, you're going to see V equals 1/3 big B times H. Or we could rewrite that to V equals big B times H divided by 3. And I'm going to prove that to you with the math, okay? And just in case you forgot, the H in this stands for the height of the 3-dimensional picture, and we're looking at pyramids, so this is the height of the pyramid. In our previous lessons, it was the height of the prism. Then we're going to identify the area of the base, like what we've been doing, so what shape it is, and use that area formula. So lots of different elements coming into one lesson. So I'm going to do the first 2 examples with you, and then you're going to try these 2 on your own and check in with your teacher. So definitely want to make sure that you're getting these right before you get those practice problems. So this first part, let's talk about this. This workspace is for the base. Remember that capital B, we're saying the area of the base. So in our previous lesson, before we even started talking about surface area or volume, the first thing we did is we shaded the base. So this pyramid, we're going to shade the base. And remember, a pyramid has 1 base, and across that base is the vertex. So the height of the pyramid, right here, is going to be the distance between the base and the vertex every single time. I wrote an extra S there, height of the pyramid that you're looking at in your problem. So the distance between the vertex and the base is your height of your pyramid. When we talked about prisms, we said that the height right here was the distance between the two bases. So that's something else to think about. Okay? A prism has two bases, and the height is the distance connecting them. A pyramid has one base and a vertex, and its height is connecting that vertex and that base. Okay, so all these different things, that's what we're taking at one lesson and one day at a time. So right now, the first thing we need to do is find the area of the base. So what we shaded across from that vertex is a rectangle. So what I like to do, like you've already seen me in previous videos, is identify the base first, then use the area formula for a rectangle. So the area formula for a rectangle, if you look on your math chart, is base times height. So the base of that rectangle and the height, or length and width, is 8 centimeters times 7 centimeters. And 8 times 7 is 56. And centimeters times centimeters, we're going to write 56 centimeters squared. So that's what we're going to put right here. So this 1/3 is a constant. For every pyramid, you're having to do 1/3 times the area of the base times the height of the pyramid. So the height of that pyramid connecting the vertex and the base is 11 centimeters. I got my units over here. Okay? So let me get some scratch paper so we can work that out and understand what's happening here. So the first thing I would suggest is, remember, when we're multiplying fractions, you have to make everything a fraction. So this is 1/3 times 56 times 11. So 56 is the same thing as 56 over 1, and 11 over 1 is the same thing as 11. So 56 divided by 1 is 56. 11 divided by 1 is 11. So we multiply by fractions, we're going to go straight across. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So 1 times 56 is 56. 56 times 11. See, 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. 0 is a placeholder. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 times 1 is 5. We add those up. 5 plus 6 is 11. 5 plus 1 is 6. So we get 616, but that's not my final answer because we still have to multiply that denominator. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3 again. So now, numerator divided by denominator, the numerator goes inside, the denominator goes outside. So all these math strategies we've already learned are coming back into one problem, but step by step we can do it. So 616 divided by 3, 3 goes into 6 twice, 2 times 3 is 6, I subtract, bring down. 3 cannot go into 1, so I must put a 0. 0 groups of 3 go into 1. 0 times 3 is 0, subtract, and bring down. 3 goes into 16 5 times, and 5 times 3 is 15. And then I'm going to subtract, okay? If it doesn't go in evenly, we can say remainder 1, because we can make that a mixed number. So 205, your remainder is going to be your numerator. What you divided by is going to be the denominator. So after all of that, we see 205 and 1/3, and that's okay. You can have mixed numbers as your answer. And then my units were centimeters, and it's going to be to the 3rd power because I multiplied. I had an exponent of 2, so centimeters times centimeters times centimeters again. You see it 3 times. Okay. This one we could not make a decimal because it would be a repeating decimal. So if you ever have a repeating decimal as an answer, leave it as a mixed number. That's actually more accurate. Okay. Now here's the thing. A minute ago I was saying you could do area of the base times height divided by 3. Well, your area of the base times height, 56 times 11, was right here, 616. And look, didn't we end up doing 616 divided by 3? So that's why either way of these work. When you multiply by 1/3, at the end of it, you're going to divide by 3 anyway. So this is what you're going to see on your math chart, but if it helps you to rewrite it, you know that we're going to do that step eventually. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this next problem, and then you're going to try the next 2 on your own. Check in with your teacher to see if you get it right. So again, the first thing we do, no matter what, is we shade the base. If you're not sure what the base is, look at the pyramid and you have the vertex, and directly across from that vertex is your base. So this shape right here, and then the distance connecting the base and the vertex is going to be your height. So I'll put a little h next to that. Now, not the height of the base, but the height of the actual pyramid. So right now, I know that this height is already 17, so I can put the 17 right there. Okay, that's why you see in the videos I cover things up and kind of make sure to go step by step. So now, the area of the base, which is across from the vertex, that shape is a right triangle. So the area formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So this one was a rectangular pyramid, so that's why I use base times height for the formula. This one is a triangular pyramid, so that's why my area formula for this base is different. So that's why we're breaking it down step by step. If you try to do too many things at once, if you forgot to do 1/2 on this one, or you forgot to divide by 3 over here, there's all these different little rooms for mistakes, so take it step by step. So your base and your height in any shape form a right angle, which we have right there. So this is 14 times 8, or 8 times 14. They didn't give me this number over here, but just in case they did, that would be extra information. We wouldn't need it for that area formula. Okay, so 1/2 times base times height. Doesn't matter if we say 14 times 8 or 8 times 14. So 1/2 times, well, we're going to do 14, make it a fraction, put it over 1. Make 8 a fraction, put it over 1. And we're going to go straight across. And that's why I have my scratch paper over here so we can work it out. Okay? So 1 times 14 times 8. Well, 1 times 14 is 14. So let's see, 14 times 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 1 is 8. 9, 10, 11. So it's 112. So 112 over 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2 again. So 112 divided by 2. So if you weren't working this out on a piece of paper and you forgot to do 1/2 times 14 times 8, that's where some people might have messed up. And then 14 times 8 is 112, and put that there. But the base in this case is a triangle, and the base in this one was a rectangle, so that's why we divide by 2 on this one, but not on that one. So 112 divided by 2 will give me my area of that triangle. 2 can't go into 1. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract and bring down, and 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. So I have my area of my base is 56. Now these aren't labeled as inches, centimeters, or anything like that, so we would write units squared. And then we would just write units here. So if they don't give me if it's inches, feet, miles, anything like that, we're just going to go ahead and write units. Okay? So now we have everything set up. So you have to find the area of the base and before you can find the volume. That's why we talked about area first. So now we see that we have 1/3 times 56 times 17. So again, we're going to make these fractions, and we're going to go straight across. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you 3 times 1 is 3 times 1 is 3. We can do that denominator first, but now we want to see what that's going to be going into in the numerator. So 1 times 56 is 56. 56 times 17. See what we get. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. 0 is a placeholder, and cross out the numbers we've used. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. Then we add that up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's not 952, it's 952 divided by 3. So here again, area of the base times height. We're ending up dividing by 3 right here, just like our problem tells us. Okay, so a couple ways that we can look at that. So very, very careful to take your time on all your problems, but especially volume of pyramids, because you can see how many steps there are, but step by step you guys can get it. So 3 goes into 9 3 times, exactly. Subtract, bring down. 3 goes into 5 once. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, bring down. 3 goes into 22 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract, and we have a remainder again. So 317 is my whole number. My remainder is my numerator. What I divided by is my denominator. Okay? We're not going to write a repeating decimal in here, so that's why we're going to keep it as a mixed number. So 317 and 1/3. So 317 and 1/3, and we would just write units to the power of 3. Okay? So as you can see, we want you to make sure you're taking your time and working these out on your piece of paper. When you're drawing them, if the picture's not already drawn on your paper for you, shade the base first, connect your height to your vertex. That's going to be the number that goes here. That's the height of the pyramid. Got to figure out the area of that base. That number is going to go there, and you're going to follow through from there. So try these 2 problems on your own and then check in with your teacher and let you know how you did, okay? Good luck.